Yeah, Ben, it was a beautiful moment, I have to say. I did a little profile in him in Australia, and we said, person you most want to meet. And he said, Mother Teresa. And I said, well, we're going to India. Why don't we have a crack? So he must have asked me 6 times on the tour, have you looked into Mother Teresa yet? And I said, no, no, look, we'll get to Calcutta and I'll do it. And you wouldn't believe it, a bellboy at our hotel was raised by Mother Teresa. And he said, I'll arrange you can go to Mass there. And we had to leave it. I said to Steve, "You realise we've got to leave at 5:15 in the morning to get there." And he goes, "That's right, that's right." And I always remember I was there at 5 o'clock, and Steve was already in the foyer, dressed, ready to go. He's so excited. And I remember him saying, "Hey, what about last night? I'm rooming with Glenn McGrath," he said, "I'm all excited. I'm meeting Mother Teresa tomorrow." And Glenn said, "Who's that?" So it was quite funny. But then when we got there, in this beautiful little church, it was like a little schoolroom, and the sunlight was coming through these shutters. It was majestic, and it's the only time I've ever seen Stephen more nervous. He was standing there waiting for Mother Teresa to come along, and he was just really sort of nervous. And the security guard we brought along to look after everything was so beside himself that when Mother Teresa shook his hand, seconds later he fainted and had to sit down. That was the impression she had. My memory, she was a beautiful, a small woman, and she wasn't wearing shoes at the time, and you could see the ravages of arthritis. But in the paper that day, there was a story that she'd been given a four-wheel drive by a millionaire the day before and immediately sold it and put the proceeds into people on the street. And but Steve was so excited at meeting her, and he always goes back. And I sent him a text that the day she died, and you won't believe this. It was about you know what page it got on the paper, Mother Teresa's death. It was about page 26 because she died the same day that Lady Di was killed in a car smash, and that was the first 24 pages. But an unforgettable memory. And Stephen was very good with charities. He's for every story you read about Steve Waugh and charities, there's plenty that didn't. But they're the nice moments on tour that you forever cherish.